20 years ago, I had an experience that I don't wish on anyone. However, if you're paying attention to this episode, then this is probably something that's happened to you, or maybe you know something who's experienced this at some point in their lives. It happened to me one day as I was lifting weights, and I felt like I was lifting pretty hard and heavy, and then it felt like something just completely took over my head. I had to stop lifting because the first thing that happened was that it literally felt like I was going blind. Something was taking over my eyes, and then a film covered them, and I just couldn't see, and my head started to pound, and I just couldn't do anything but sit there and wait for it to go away. But it didn't. For 2 days, it didn't go away. I was a 19-year-old kid with no idea how my body really worked. It felt like my head was going to explode. I found out later I was experiencing what they call exertion migraines. I think at that point I thought a migraine was just a really bad headache, but there clearly is a difference, and that's what we're going to be talking about today during our podcast. So let's talk about some of those differences. For the purposes of today, because there's so many different types of headaches and migraines, we're going to be talking about some of the most common ones. A tension headache is the most common headache, and a classical migraine, which is the most common migraine. So let's go ahead and get into this, and we'll talk about some of those differences and then what you can do about it, so maybe we can free you of those headaches and those migraines. A tension headache gives the patient a feeling that an elastic band is squeezing the head. The headache is caused by the contraction of muscles between the head and the neck. It's dull pain. It's experienced across the head. It's usually mild to moderate, although it can, in some extreme cases, last for days. It more commonly lasts a half an hour to a few hours. A tension headache is also something that you feel usually. You don't necessarily wake up with it. You feel it as the day progresses, and the farther down the day you go, the more serious or extreme that headache can start to feel. Now, a migraine in comparison tends to range from moderate to very severe throbbing pain at the front or the side of the head. It can be unrelenting and carry on for days and is accompanied by other symptoms, sometimes described as the aura. That fuzzy feeling of mine that felt like I was going to go blind was part of that aura, and then the severe pain starts. Now, in addition to the severe pain, migraine sufferers may experience some or all of the following symptoms. Things like dizziness or nausea, photosensitivity, increased sensitivity to light and sound and smells, extreme fatigue. So those are some of the common symptoms of migraines. For a moment here, we're going to get into some of the specific areas where there's a difference between a headache and a migraine. So some of those areas are the intensity, how strong it is, duration, the types of symptoms, the phases, causes, and different treatment ideas that work. So, number one, intensity. While both headache and migraine feature pain, the intensity level of a migraine headache is generally much higher than that of a regular headache. The pain feels as if it's coming from inside the skull and is often accompanied by throbbing in the temples or pain behind the eyes. Duration. Tension headaches, cluster headaches typically resolve within a few hours. Migraine headaches can last for days at a time. Now, number three, symptoms. Headaches usually have one symptom, pain in the head. Migraines can come with a variety of symptoms that can include some or all of the following. Photosensitivity, where light is unbearable and increases the pain. Maybe environmental sensitivity, so just as with light, sounds or smells in the environment can intensify the pain. Dizziness. A migraine can be very disorienting, both mentally and physically. Nausea. Whether it's due to dizziness or prompted by photosensitivity, nausea and vomiting often happen with migraines. So, number four, we'll go back to differences. Phases. Now, with a headache, you have one thing, the headache. With a migraine, you actually have phases, different levels of this thing that can happen. Those who suffer migraines will notice that their symptoms follow certain phases, and these phases include phase one. It's called the prodromal phase. This is kind of a warning that the pain is imminent, that the headache is coming. Migraine sufferers may experience mood swings, lethargy, and increased need to use the bathroom. And this is something we're kind of moving on into. We're not yet moving into treatments, but we're just going to talk about this for a second. In our office, we take care of people who deal with headaches and migraines, and chiropractic has been shown to be able to help people with that. And one of the things that we found is that is when you start feeling it coming, that prodromal phase where you have that warning that the migraine is imminent. If you're able to come in when you feel it coming on, we have a much higher likelihood of being able to take care of that headache than if we wait until the migraine is at full force. Okay, phase 2, the aura. The aura is not present for everyone who suffers a migraine, but the aura can include a glow around figures and shapes or wavy lines that you see. It's a neurological event that happens sometimes 20 to 60 minutes before the pain. Then phase 3, it's the attack phase, when the phase hits. And then phase 4 is the postdromal pain, when the pain has subsided. Sufferers may feel exhausted, but then also mildly elated. And maybe it's just elated that everything's over, but you have this combination, the strange combination of completely exhausted and then this elated feeling during that postdromal phase. So now we're going to go into number 5, the number 5 difference between headaches and migraines, and that's the cause. Tension and cluster headaches in general have easily traceable causes. Tension headaches can be caused by stress, additional stress, or a lack of sleep. Cluster headaches can be caused by dehydration and stress too. Migraine headaches have common triggers, but are a neurological condition with no one cause. Now, a person who has migraine headaches may find that certain foods or certain factors like foods or scents trigger their pain. And we'll go a little more into this. So tension and cluster headaches may be caused at times by some of these factors, but the important distinguishing factor is that those that suffer from migraines will nearly always be triggered by their particular combination of factors. So once you figure out what those factors are, the migraine almost always happens when you hit those triggers. And that's why it's important to identify them. So we'll get into some of these kinds of triggers. There are gender and hormonal shifts that can create it. Allergies can cause it. Family history, nerve damage, environmental causes. So let's talk about some of these hormonal shifts. That's the next thing we'll talk about. Women are 3 times more likely to suffer from migraines than men. They're also more likely to see the migraine pain diminish, if not disappear, after menopause, which leads some researchers to conclude that changes in hormones are a factor in migraines in women. There's a professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Oh, you know what? Let's just kick that whole sentence out there. We'll end with hormones are a factor in migraine in women, and then we'll begin at the next sentence here. Allergies. A study published in November 25 of 2013 edition of the Journal of Cephalgia connected allergies and migraine headaches for the first time. Allergies, also called allergic rhinitis, a condition that causes irritation and inflammation in the body. Because migraines are also associated with inflammation of the blood vessels, it makes sense that one might exacerbate or trigger the other. Environmental causes. This is a broad category of causes that could be considered more along the lines of triggers than root causes of migraines, but this can include any of the following: stress, changes in weather, food, lack of sleep, family history. It's a large survey of 11,000 migraine sufferers found other genetic leaks to migraine without aura. While the science continues to develop, it's clear that a family history is a powerful cause of migraines and headaches. 80% of migraine sufferers have at least one family member who also has migraines. Nerve damage is another. Nerve fibers are surrounded by a protective covering called a myelin sheath. This prevents nerves from being overly stimulated at any given time. It also causes the nerves to be able to communicate at a faster rate. But when that myelin sheath is damaged, myelins can occur. Now we're going to talk about treatments. Number 1, prevention. Prevention can include things like developing stress management techniques through meditation and meditative exercise like yoga and tai chi. That definitely can make a difference. Other things you can do to prevent migraines: get plenty of rest. Number 2, stay hydrated. Number 3, avoid chemicals and foods in your household and household cleaners that you know trigger your migraines. Next, refrain from smoking or drinking. Avoid loud or bright places. Track symptoms and triggers so you can avoid them in the future. This is key. This is key and something that you're going to really want to watch. One of the things that we're going to have included in our show notes today, our freebie is going to be a migraine symptom tracker. It's a PDF that you'll want to check out. It'll just be something you can print off and you can track every day what you're feeling and maybe what some of those triggers are. So check that out. There's going to be a freebie in your show notes. So click that link so that you can get that. So how can your chiropractor help? We kind of started to talk about that a little bit earlier, but let's go into this a little bit. When the blood vessels begin to dilate, this is what leads to headaches. This is what leads to migraines, when the blood vessels in the brain start to dilate. One of the things you can do to normalize blood flow and anywhere in the head is to make sure that the autonomic nerves, those are the nerves that control heart rate, blood pressure, digestive system, organs and glands, that sort of thing. Those nerves, those autonomic nerves, travel to your blood vessels and will affect them. So we want to make sure those autonomic nerves are functioning well. Misalignments in the upper cervical part of the spine, that's the upper part of the neck, can put pressure on those nerves that travel back up into the head. So it's important to be evaluated by a chiropractor because they can evaluate, correct those misalignments, helping those blood vessels to function more normally. That will reduce your chances of headaches and migraines. For lots of years, chiropractic has been making a difference in people's headaches and migraines. Guys, imagine what it can do for you. Hey, I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you for being a part of the Beyond Pain Relief podcast. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for following us. Thanks for keeping on track with us. If you've not done it before, click that subscribe button so you can get alerts that we're here, and even consider leaving a rating and review. We love and appreciate those reviews. And I think what I'm going to start doing very soon is we're going to start reading some of those positive reviews that we've received, because I just love and appreciate it. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for leaving those ratings and reviews. It's really awesome. And I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Again, click on the link for the show notes. You want that freebie so you can track those migraines. If you know someone who's suffering with headaches and migraines and that suffering seems to be debilitating, you can make a difference in their lives by sharing this podcast with them. There's a share link. If you just go to the bottom of the page that you're watching here, there should be a share link. Or if you're on the website, there's a little link button at the bottom of the podcast section there. Just click that and share that with someone you know. Make a difference in their lives. That's what I ask of you today. Hey guys, it's Dr. Emil Tompkins. Have a wonderful day, and I wish you health. We'll see you soon.